Welcome to the Diamond Las Vegas Open, proudly presented by CueSports International and hosted here at the Rio All Suites Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada. This is the finals. The game is 9-ball. The format is 1 race to 9. Alternate break, rack your own, and the 3-point rule is in effect. Right now, let's meet our two opponents for the finals. First up, coming up from the one-loss side of the chart and hailing from Poland, can we put our hands together for Mr. Mieszko Fortunski? And our only undefeated player in the event, can we put our hands together for hailing from the Netherlands, Mr. Niels Feijen. Gentlemen, have a great match. Our commentators in the booth are Jeremy Jones, George Teachea, and Jim White. And gentlemen, you may lag for break.
Well, here we go, Jeremy. There's the lag, and it looks like Mieszko got that. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, well,
they took that off. Yeah, they switched sides.
Because Fortunski's a lefty, so that's why generally you'll lag from the side you're sitting on. But when it's a lefty-righty, they'll just get out of each other's way. And what a deserving final, I think, from what I've seen.
Well, exactly. I mean, these guys were both playing, from what I could see, the most solid of anyone in the tournament the whole time through.
Yeah, that showed through the winner's side. They both met in the finals of the winner's side, and then Fortunski didn't have his best match there, and Niels playing great again. But he sure did play solid against Skyler.
That was one heck of a match against Skyler. Well, Mieszko hails from, like John introduced him, he's 27-year-old from Poland, nicknamed the Butcher, he says. That's my nickname. And, of course, the Terminator, Niels, has every title available from Europe.
It's funny, I was in between the semifinal and the final. I was talking to a few pool players, and we were talking about who you like in the final. And I thought if Fortunski could stay comfortable like he appeared in the semifinal, I think that'll go a long ways. And speaking of the break, Niels, of course, who breaks the ball is great. There's nothing wrong with Niels' break. But one thing about it is Niels never backs off the break. He's almost always going 100%, which is nothing wrong with that. But from what I've seen on the table this week, especially this table, just like in the semifinal, it's like a nice pop break that seems to be the most effective. Skyler and both him and Fortunski weren't going even close to 100%, and they were getting great results.
Definitely agree there. In fact, Fortunski, for the most part on his breaks, was pretty much parking the ball right in the middle of the table.
Yeah, and it was just a nice little pop.
It was a nice little pop.
Yeah.
Nice, good stroke on the ball with a good pop.
And when we say little pop, it wasn't like 20%, of course, but it wasn't anywhere close to 100.
They can be misconstrued, yeah, but it's probably a 75%, maybe 80.
Sure.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was just a solid control stroke. He's off to a fine start here off of Niels' dry break.
Yeah, and making this rack look easy, and it was anything from it. He had to get really nice on the 3 to go by the 5 without contacting, and also still holding this angle to get back across. So again, this is one thing I saw. The cue ball fell near the rail many times when he played Skyler. It didn't really cost him. He managed, because he's so talented, to kind of shoot his way out of it a few times. But got to pay attention to that. We talked about it through the week. These great players, if they keep the cue ball off the rail, and they can handle most angles.
Well, there's no reason to think he won't continue with the same play that he had throughout the tournament for shots like this. But, you know, it could wear on you, especially in the final with the mounting pressure.
Yeah, and he did the right thing there, though. You simplify the 5 and take a little bit more of a shot on the 6 just to keep the run going. And, again, being so talented, when things get a little touchy, keep it simple and just know that your town will take over and most likely get things done. But
Oh, he hung the 6.
yeah, he sure did, and he hit it a bit thick, going back and forth with the cue ball. So I think this is obviously a big miss in the first game, but it'll be interesting to see because Fortunski's right back to break in game 2. If he breaks and gets a shot, let's see if he recovers well as far as mentally.
We haven't seen very many misses from him, not at all. I think in the hot seat match, he missed a 2-ball to the corner pocket. And that was all we ever saw from him as far as missing went. There weren't too many misses.
I just missed some position errors and stuff like that. One thing you won't see much of with these guys, really solid position players.
Yeah, they've had that cue ball on a string, as you like to say.
Yeah, that. Well, the Euros, for the most part, when they really start trying to become, one of the best players in the world, meaning play pool for a living as a pro. Much prior to that, though, they play a lot of straight pool to learn pocket billiards. They play a lot of 8-ball, which really opens up as far as cue ball control and really just kind of looking at the table and getting a good perspective of what's going on with certain layouts.
Yeah, like you mentioned, especially 8-ball, the pattern play is so important, and very little cue ball movement. If they can avoid, they will.
Yeah. And I'll tell you one thing 8-ball does is makes you recognize things. Just in time, you start to see a pattern of things the way, and it really carries over into all games. That's one thing about pocket billiards. They all kind of help each other.
Sure.
Different little facets.
And Niels is a 14-1 world champ.
Oh, yeah. Niels, I wouldn't be surprised if he's won every European discipline of the European Championships. That meaning they play 8-ball, straight pool, and 9-ball. I think they actually play 10-ball now also.
Well, yeah, actually, yes, because the young Polish, 27-year-old Polish is the Euro champ for 2019 in 10-ball.
Yeah, I think they added 10-ball in the last few years because I believe Christina Tkach won both the 9-ball and the 10-ball divisions. Maybe I'm thinking of Pia Filler, one of the two. Now, this is a funny shot. He could shoot straight through the 2 with top right English, let the 2 bank towards the 6-9 and go the rail and bring the cue ball back up on the 4 with the right spin.
And that looks like what he's doing, or is he going for
Well, he's hitting
4?
low, so he's going to try and creep it behind there. And that one, see what happens is when you put the draw on there, it slows the cue ball down tremendously. So you really needed a little bit more of a natural angle to go to that rail and spin over. He's left a tester, though. And
he should avoid the 9. It looks really close, but it looks like he'll miss the 9 if he pockets the deuce and come right back up for that 3.
Yeah, and he just
doesn't have to come far.
Yeah, I don't think he'll hit the 9 for sure. Thing is, he's just not in love with the path. He doesn't want to dead slow roll the ball from some 7.5, 8 feet to a cut shot that's a ball 3 feet away, or 2 feet away, excuse me, from the pocket. Now, don't get me wrong, if he guaranteed had position that way, maybe, but I think he's going to end up playing safe. Yeah.
It looks like he's going to use the 6-9 to block the 2 and put it on the side rail.
And this is one, again, don't baby it. Go ahead and hit it a little bit. You're not going to hit it hard, but the under hit is the one that gets you. Yeah, that's a good speed there as long as the line's all right. And you'll see there's 2 balls for the Eclipse.
Looks like he might have a window between the 2 balls from this screen view.
Yeah, and the way he's approaching it, I believe he does. And if he can get left English on this, that's even double sweet because he can get behind the 9 easily.
Oh, he did. And the 3-ball, he's left an open ball.
Oh, he can see it. He can see the top edge of the 2, and it was some good camera work there. Whenever Niels probably goes around and looks at the table from a different viewpoint, we'll probably get another look with that camera.
We're standing right behind the line of the ball, the cue ball to the 2 ball, and he can't see the right side of the ball.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, it's not a bad shot with the 7. You see the 7 out? We'll see it here in a minute in the upper right-hand corner. No, that's the
4
That's
ball
the
to
4.
right
Excuse
hand,
me.
yeah.
But you can kind of bank the 2, cross it over, run the cue ball down behind the 6 and 3, and good chance if the 2 leaks out, it still may leave some type of combination instead of a straight-in shot.
Yeah, I think he'll go off the side of the ball and come back down again with the cue ball.
And he may have to cue it with a little bit of left English. That way, when he hits the top rail with the cue ball, he kind of goes and stays to the left side.
He might be closer to the 9 than we think because he's really taking a hard look at it. It looks very open from the camera angles that we saw.
Oh, and it is. He can definitely get, 20% of the ball or so. And this is where you just basically ignore the object ball. Just play the speed of the cue ball to come down the left side, and somewhat of like a one-pocket shot, crossing this ball over and run the cue ball back down. And again, if you really try to control the 2 so much, I think you can lose the shot entirely. I think this is all cue ball based.
He came back. He's going to catch the 8.
Yeah, see that, and that's from trying to get the 2 to the back rail. And don't get me wrong, you could see the 2 could have stood up right there in front of the pocket off the 4, and he could have sold out. But still, I understand what he was trying to do there, though. There's a lot more comfort trying to get that 2 pinned to that top rail. You feel like you got 2 ways to get safe, but the problem is with the top players, you give them a look at this ball, even though they're not going offensive, they're probably going to get the best of it against you.
Yeah, they're gonna do what they have to do to get safe and keep you from being aggressive.
Yeah, and that
here
looks
he
like
is. Yeah.
like it's nicely hit, but the 2 came up.
And the cue ball came down.
Yeah, that's good.
Right behind the 3 ball. Got the 5 ball off the rail. It's close to a pocket. Now if he happens to get a shot, things look really good for him.
Yeah, and I wonder if Niels is going to try and just bank this ball around. I mean, he could shoot it at a 2-5 combination, which really, be honest with you, it's not the worst thing in the world because you take a chance at making a ball, right? You shoot the 2 over into some other balls, which could cause congestion, and you get to run the cue ball.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to kick at it. Wow, this is surprising.
It's a little bit of a tough kick. He had no problem, and he got rewarded. Cue ball, good.
I think it's
no. Went right
now
back,
we're going to see
right
the jump
back where
cue.
it was. Now we'll see. Yep. Here comes the jump. He no hesitation. Just walks right for the jump cue.
Well, and I'll tell you, that's one thing that I can appreciate there as far as Niels realizing that the jump really wasn't a whole lot of value in the jump. He kind of felt like he could create and get a little more fortune with the kick, and you won't see many guys do that because the kick seems more missable.
It did seem missable.
But he was very disciplined about it and very professional and realized that was a better way to maybe survive this game.
He found his line and made good contact and got rewarded, like you said. Now and there you go.
Yeah, and a favorite to make that one.
The crowd likes a jump shot. They sure like the jump shots. They're so they look spectacular.
Well, it's a part of the game that's not going anywhere. I think at times maybe it can be governed a little bit differently, but it's definitely an exciting shot in our game.
It is.
It makes it difficult to play safe, though. Tell you, the guys can get over balls that are just a few inches away, it seems like, and
yeah, it's almost like you have to put them right up against it. I mean, because they have the dart jump, the long jump like that. They can just do what they need to do with that jump cue. Some of these guys are really, really good with it. These are the last 2 guys standing out of 106 players that started out on Wednesday, and Skylar Woodward ended up in 3rd place. Carlos Ariel Castro ended up in 4th. 5th, 6th with Koping Chung and Torsten Homan. Meanwhile, Niels is doing a job with this rack. It looks commanding control, because this is a matter of just connecting the dots here.
Yeah,
But
he hit that 3 sweet. A lot of people would have pounded that ball and went it back across on the other side of the 8. And he recognized that it was a better position shot to stay on the good side of the 4, but it made the shot on the 3 much more delicate, like he had to soft draw it to the rail with a lot of angle. And very comfortable.
He just
confident.
continues to impress. He really does. He just complete control. Both of these players just have complete control of the cue ball. And as he takes care of these last 3 balls, I'll just read off a couple more finishers. 7th, 8th was Colin Wu and Jeffrey Ignacio. 9th through 12th was James Aranas, Eklund Kachi, Alex Pagulayan, and Maximilian Lechner. And we also had 13th through 16th. We had Omar Al-Shaheen, Josh Roberts, Max Eberly, and Shane Van Boning.
Well, he got a little out of line here. Not saying it's one he's going to miss, but anytime you're cutting the ball back from behind, it's not quite as comfortable as above the ball. So again, we'll see how he looks pretty settled in his chair, that being Fortunski, but rattled a 6-ball in game 1 and then made a nice play there. Just Niels kind of took it away from him with a kick shot that created a little luck on the 5, and a nice jump shot and a nice run after that.
Yeah, well, Niels stole his break and got rewarded 2-0.
Well, I played Fortunski the first time in Russia, I believe, last year it was. So maybe I played him one time before, but I'd inquired, somebody offered some information that he can get a little frustrated at times. And, you know, he's a young man, young player, so, you know, that's all of us when we're first starting to really get our feet wet in the professional tournaments. Yeah, sure. And so I'm sure it's something that he's maturing through and getting better at every day. But we'll see how it plays out.
Well, he started out slow against Schuyler. It looked like Schuyler had it in hand, and he came right through it and took it away from Schuyler.
Yeah, and again, this would have been my only concern as far as how Niels is going to fare. Now, he may not win, but I feel like he's going to perform pretty well. But I kind of felt like on this table, the way it's breaking, still that 100%. We can see all the cluster up near the cue ball, so definitely different layouts.
Do you think that has more to do because he was breaking pretty good throughout the tournament? He's played, I think, twice on this table, and he wasn't getting clusters like this. And now, do you think it's the cloth settling in?
Could be a little bit of that. Okay, this could be a really, if he can get him really sewn up here, this is like a prime position to maybe 3-foul somebody. He could go rail first here instead of cutting the 2 naturally. Go rail first and dribble it down and come across on the 4-9. Now here, this could get away from him. Ball first. Yeah. Oh, okay, decent.
He's got the rail to work with, though, I believe.
Yeah, he's going to try and make it most likely.
Yeah.
Right? Rail first?
Rail first, sure. I would definitely. It's there. It's
he's
available.
Looking at the jump now. And this is kind of what I was talking about. Look how close these balls are. Now, I know he only has to go over maybe a third of the ball to try and cut the 2 in. Now, maybe he's jumping it and knocking the 2 away. And playing a safety and holding the cue ball into the 5 or something like that.
Right, because cutting it that thin, you can leave the table. No, he cut it right in the. Wow, what a great shot. No reward.
No, and he won't be jumping this one if he can't get that left piece. If you're looking at your screen, his right, that left piece of that 3. But it's a kick he should hit. Of course, he'll want to clip it if he can. But don't take a chance going by that 7. You can see that 4-9 and all that. You're hitting this ball 99 out of 100 coming off this back rail, I think.
Sure.
So don't take a chance trying to hit too great of a shot with so much congestion on the left side of the table.
Just hit into it?
Well, I mean, you might hit it with a speed. Now, if there's no problem going by this 7, I'm saying don't threaten fouling right here, or trying to get an edge of this 3 when you could kick at it.
Looks like he can cut it, and he's going to cut it to the
overcut
back rail.
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't. He overcut it. He tried to get the cue ball back there, and did he? No, not quite.
But still fairly containing, meaning Fortunski, I'm sure, will try to pocket the 3. And this is a bit of a little mental anguish with a shot like this, meaning it's one you're supposed to make, but if you miss it, you might sell out the run out. But if you got to shoot it to make it and play safe on the 4, so it's not a fun shot because you know you can't run out behind it, but you can certainly lose the game behind it if you miss. But I don't think he can afford to do anything else. He could cross it over and try to run the cue ball, but I think he should attack here and then again play safe on that 4.
I definitely agree. I think he just tried to put everything into making the ball and ended up right by the spot.
Man, how much talent this guy got. Most people would have just
full
laid
stroke.
that ball up
Exactly.
and come one row over. And
he stroked it.
Yeah, and he said, I want to get really nice on this 4 so I can lay the cue ball down somewhere.
One of the things I notice about aggressive players like Fortunski is they'd rather take a full stroke at something than to roll the ball, especially when it's got distance, when there's distance away from it.
I agree with that as well. It's just sometimes, the game will tell you, well, it's a little easier this way maybe, when it really isn't. Putting the full stroke is the correct way to do it. It's just easy to let your mind wander and just try to cinch the ball a little.
Well, there's less room for error. You decelerate on your stroke, or maybe if you're on different equipment, you could roll off a little bit when you're.
Yeah. Well, that's why, guys try to drag the ball a lot, meaning hit it with a low English and let the ball turn over right before contact and become a roll. That way they kind of keep it from rolling off. When the cue ball's sliding, the table has to really lean badly for it to roll off.
Yep. Looks like he's going to go into these balls and
he may
bring
play
the
a
cue
trick
ball.
shot.
He could possibly just cut this 4 ball real thin.
Man, that's thin.
It's real. Yeah, I don't think he'll have enough speed to make
I think
the
that's
9.
what he's doing. Field goal.
He's got to get a field goal.
Yeah.
Oh, he tried. Cue ball. Did he find the corner pocket?
Was it finding the 8? Right behind the 8? Watch
quite.
out.
Almost.
Well, there had to be something probably better than that percentage-wise, and I'm wondering if, it's 2-0. He's made a mistake. Niels lucked the ball in on a kick shot. He's not getting left with much of an opportunity to run out. Even when Niels broke dry, he had a shot on the 1, but no chance of ever running the table.
This is a delicate shot.
And this is one of Niels' bread and butter, though. A little like medium firm downward into that side. And he just doesn't miss that type of shot. It wasn't easy. It was a little touchy, like you said, but he usually buries that one.
He'll probably cut this to the side, or would you rather bank this than cut it to the side?
Oh, I'd rather cut it all day.
I thought so.
Especially there's a path to go in between the 5-6, go 2 rails, I think, in between the 5-6. I believe there is, anyways. I don't think he'll involve the 8.
If he spins it, he should miss the 8 and still go between the 5-6, like hit the head rail and come down between the 5-6. Put just a little bit of English on it, he should be all right. It's pretty natural.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Wow.
Perfect, and he's lefty,
Yep.
so a little easier to reach. A little more than a little.
Yeah, that left-hand pocket always, when you approach the table from the right side, the left-hand pocket for a left-hander just becomes so available from so many areas. And you don't have to use a bridge.
Well, he's getting an extension, I think, and he was taking a little more time because you want to figure out the 7 to the 8 right here. That's what tells you how you're going to get on the 6. Last match, Fortunski, slow starter in the last match. There were a couple little errors, but then he just really thrived off of that one mistake Sky made and turned the match around. And I'm wondering if, it's only 2-0, but might get a little attitude adjustment by that miss from Niels.
Mm-hmm. Think that pumps him up?
Well, yeah. I do. I think it could. Seemed to happen in the last match.
Sure. Sure. Sees that maybe reads this as a little bit of a weakness, and I doubt if he reads it as weakness because If he did, it'd be a misread.
Well, he's a younger man, and we know some of the younger attitudes sometimes in the pool room or the pool world would be like, oh, he don't want it. Let me take it away from him. Of course, Niels wants it. He just missed. But, a younger man might
Sure.
motivate himself with some type of thought like that.
Mieszko is sponsored by Predator. He plays with the Icon 3, and he uses the first generation 314 shaft. He's had it for 20 years, he told me.
Wow.
He's married to that cue. I mean, he's been using it. He knows every bit about it.
20 years.
He said he's had it for 20 years.
Got it for his second birthday, or what
probably.
happened?
He's 27 years old.
Oh, 27. Okay.
Yeah, he did say he'd been playing since 7 years old. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know it was, if I remember correctly, it was around 1995 when the company
Came out with the Predator.
existed.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember those when they came out. I actually tried to play with them for 6 months.
Oh, me and you both.
And went back to the good old wood.
Yeah, I loved it, actually. I stayed home and practiced with it for many months. See, that's a lot lighter. You hear that? You see the spread. You see now what? 5 going down.
4 balls
Four
went
going down,
He's
5
got
left
5
on.
left on the table.
Yeah.
And you described it perfectly, Jeremy, when you said because you could even hear it. It sounds like a little pop.
Yeah, it's just a little
Just
pop.
a little pop.
And that's really what's getting the best results as far as the way the rack's opening and getting consistent results. Meaning whether that be the one on the side or the one rail towards the corner and the corner ball maybe going. And the thing is, oh, that's okay. Yeah. The camera fooled me again looking at the monitor. I thought it was a 3 up table. It was a 5.
I almost said the same thing. He went too deep in the corner. Why didn't he just go 2 rails off on the left side of the 6? It got me the same way.
Yeah. One thing talking about that break is Niels is a very smart man and plays the game great, but sometimes I've seen him get a little stubborn with it, meaning I don't know if it's a conscious stubborn, meaning I'm just going to ignore how well my opponent's breaking from this spot at this speed and stick to what I'm doing. But sometimes he won't adjust the break much, and I've seen it on many occasions, and he overcomes it a lot of times, and it still has a successful break quite often. But he's got to pay attention to what happened here in Game 4, I think.
Sure, I think he does. But one of the things that might be in his mind and lead to what you might call the little bit of stubbornness is the
What
fact
got
that he
him
was
here?
successful.
Yeah.
That's what got him there. So
Right.
I'm going to go with what got me here.
Yeah, I agree. But I mean, what if you just keep like he's 2 for 2 on dry breaks?
But we all know conditions change.
Yeah, they sure
You know,
do.
so it's just with that changing, you have to see what your opponent's doing and possibly adjust.
Yeah, it's worth a thought, anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
Now we'll see, and I was one that even when a lot of people were using the real, I don't want to call it too much of it. I mean, it was like a powder puff purse. I mean, you hit it with your purse, yeah, like really, really light.
Oh, the
light
one,
I'm talking about with the templates and stuff that were
with it.
Before they came out with some rules to really kind of eliminate that. And guys were being, okay.
6 ball.
So he did make one. That's a good sign. And guys were winning tournaments using that type of soft break. I was never one to use it. I just thought it was incorrect for the game. And I watched Niels in the same situations. He would never, ever
use that break.
Yeah, try to really. Cheat's a harsh word. It's not cheating. It was within the rules, but it's definitely not how the game was set up.
I remember a tournament here at the BCA PLs here, the 9-ball challenge. They were breaking with a template, and they were breaking the balls so soft. The one ball would barely go up to the side pocket. They'd be straight in. They'd pocket the wing ball every time, and they had a dead run out every time, or a combo off that real soft break. And it was like you could almost call it cheating, but they were within the rules. Nothing had to pass the head string, and until you learned to break, you were just getting run out on. But I like the 3-point rule where it forces the balls to go up the table. And you have to pocket a ball, of course, and it stops that type of a break. But without a template here, they wouldn't want to break that way anyway. Soft.
Yeah, and I think most of the players really want it to be a more firm break, whether it's a firm break that has consistent results or not. The one thing about a firm break is you have to hit it well. You can't just, there's not a lot of room for error how you hit the ball.
Yeah, you come across the ball, you lose it to the side pocket.
Yeah, exactly. So there is an element of not knowing exactly what the outcome is going to be, because it is easy to mishit it a little bit. But Niels here in Game 5 have shored up the break issues, at least for now. It's going to most likely capture another lead.
Well, he started breaking, so he's going to be ahead. But Fortunski can make up the ground with, a successful break and run.
Well, Niels picked up the pace a little bit this rack. Not a slow player, but definitely likes to see what he wants to get done with each shot.
A well-deserved applause there for that break and run.
And we got a pretty packed house here. A lot of pool players in the city right now, of course, but many of them are out playing, but the ones that aren't,
they're here.
Yeah, they sure are.
Is that your wife I see in the audience with your sister?
That it is.
Uh-huh.
Well, I don't see my sister.
For those of you out there, I believe this, is it tomorrow you celebrate your anniversary?
Yeah, it was
Good
last
for you,
Sunday,
Jeremy.
but I was out of town,
Yeah.
so we're going to celebrate it tomorrow, 2-year anniversary. Pretty excited. Going to go to dinner and a show. So.
It worked perfect. That's awesome.
Okay.
Oh, it looks like a dry.
Yeah, just as we
We were
spoke about
talking about
Mr.
it, yeah.
Feijen, now Fortunski. And another little funny one on the side for Niels. He's got to put a little speed on this. He wants the cue ball to get out off that rail to get a pretty good shot on the 2, if he can. Can he? Is he dead straight here? The angle.
It looks like he goes into the rail.
It looks
It's got
like
a
it,
little
yeah.
slight cut, so he can just go to the rail, come off of it a little bit, and he should be good on the 2 and easy to get to the 3. Just a matter of pocketing the ball.
And again, it's one that you want to ease in, but that's actually incorrect. Hit it with a nice full stroke. Go ahead and commit. Yeah, I like that. Put a little more speed on the ball and hit it with a little more confidence.
Neither one of these players lacks that. They don't lack confidence.
He's got a little thin here on the 2 and not a problem as far as making the ball. He's wondering, am I really want to move the cue ball that much? 2 rails back and forth. The reason why is he's worried about the 7. If he gains an angle on the 3 that leads the cue ball into the 7, that could really cause some problems.
Wouldn't he rather be on the right side of the 3 to get to the 4?
Yeah, that's why he's moving it twice right here to get either full, either real heavy where he can draw, or he can go to the rail. So that's pretty nice there. And the line the cue ball's on now would be a nice line to get on the 4. Of course, another 2 or 3 feet closer.
Yep.
Because you don't want to come all the way back on the 5 anyways. That makes the 4 so much easier. You want to just come back maybe across the side pocket when you shoot the 4 and have a nice little angle on the 5.
He'd like to be where the cue ball is now, a little further up, just a few inches for the 5.
We got a lot out of that.
Yeah.
Well, that's ideal. Now he's going to have to hit this one a little more firm because he got a little less angle, but still no problem.
What a nice job. Nice control, nice angle to come off the ball, off the rail there for the 6. Some players might even kind of leave it there and play it in the corner, or he's better off coming all the way down. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that a lot more than trying to.
Me too.
Yeah, lay it there.
You shoot that other shot
Yeah.
whenever something tells you need to do that. You know, it's.
Not when you have this available.
Yeah, and when we talked about it yesterday, I think whenever you're so good on a ball, well, keep it taking advantage of being that good. Why? What's the point of getting such good position if you're just going to lay up on the next one for such a simple position play? Go ahead and take advantage of it.
shoot it with the same confidence that got you there in the first place.
Right, right. Especially he wasn't going, that was nothing ridiculous or taking any types of chances. I mean, if something went wrong there, cueing that ball and going around the 6, well, that was on him.
Yep. This is ideal, as you said, and he'll take back to that 2-game lead. Because this was Fortunski's break. But it was dry, and it cost him.
Yeah, the tides had turned there for a couple games as far as the break's concerned.
Both of these got to play this international field, and they're both, I'm sure they're both raring to go for Monday's tournament, which is the Predator World 10 Ball. There's a qualifying tournament for 2 spots tomorrow. It's a race to 5 with a $45 entry to get into this $100,000 World 10 Ball.
Well, it's great they're having an
You
on-site
qualify.
Oh, I'd love to be playing. Don't get me wrong. I said it just earlier after the last match, boy. And there's a lot of reasons. I was just going to say it that I really like the direction of professional pool. I'm very interested and very eager to see the next few years and how it should be as far as these great players all being in the same room playing together instead of sometimes separated at different events because of one reason or another. But yeah, I'd love to be playing.
Yeah. Well, we saw it last. I mean, I saw it last year with several events along the West Coast that led into the U.S. Opens in Las Vegas and to the BCAPL here, and brought all the players to Vegas. And now with this tournament and the World 10 Ball, it's really brought them in. And heck, we have the U.S. Opens again August 8th through the 13th at Griff's. And a lot of these players will still be in the area because it's only, 10 days?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so that should make for fantastic U.S. Opens at Griff's.
Okay, a 1-4 combo that he's definitely going to take on.
And successfully.
Yeah, and that shot there was one he had to sweat a little bit because couldn't afford to really aim away from the 4 too much. He had to just take a chance that he didn't make the 1 and the 4 in the same shot because you could see the cue ball. He had a shot on the 5, but not only a tough shot, but a tough one to maneuver the cue ball all the way back down table for the 6.
Well, he's got to hold his window here for the 5 between the 7 and the 5 and the rail. He's going to come all the way out?
Yeah, I would come. Anytime you want to move the cue ball, you want some angle, right?
Angle, sure.
Yeah, so
sure.
I think he can hit this with a high left and cheat the pocket a little bit on the 1 and come back to where he was pointing the cue stick. Now, he doesn't want to lay on the rail, though, so Niels has been real good about that 6 or 8 inch bounce off the rail, which is real key. I don't think he needs
what
to.
What was that? I saw him trying to elevate there.
Well, I don't think he needs to elevate here. You just cheat the pocket to create a little bit of momentum on the cue ball going in the best direction for you, plus the left English. Okay, now he went at it more, and that's why, did you see it kind of hydraulic, kind of stall coming out of there? And you'll learn something. If you want more cue ball movement, stay a little cleaner with the hit, and then the ball gets rolling naturally for you and rolls a lot further.
Do you think the high English helps hold it on the rail a little bit?
Well,
when it's close like that?
Yeah, but I mean, you're not going to hit downward with center and try and punch it. You're going to hit a high ball, right? So to make sure the high doesn't take over right when you hit the 1, you have to actually hit the ball a little lighter, a little smoother.
Okay.
That way, it's just doesn't have quite so much momentum when it goes into that rail with that top English. So, ironically, if he had made the 1, this is about where he had the cue ball when he shot that first combination on the 1-4. And yeah, just a missable ball is what it was.
Well, Mieszko gets a shot to get his lost track break back, and then break to tie it up.
Yes.
That's what these little errors like this will in the alternate break format can provide opportunities to tie that score up real quick. And it really, you know, a lot of people say when you give up a game, it's usually 2.
Watch out. Watch out.
He
That's good.
behind.
Yeah.
Oh, he came by it.
Yeah, it could have
That
carried
could've.
with it. You know,
Sure,
sometimes that
sure.
object ball will carry with the cue ball, and it's like, how did that happen?
They could have been glued. And you sit there and say to yourself, I hit it, but I'm behind it.
Well, he's lost the cue ball quite a bit here. I know he wanted to get closer to it, but
And more in line with it.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. Don't try to get too close if you're going to lose the line on the cue ball.
It's going to go back and forth. No reason to do anything else. Just keep it on the string there, just like that.
And again, that's one of those shots. I think it was you commenting earlier, George, about taking that full stroke, going back and forth, not steering it at all, and real clean hit there.
Well, I find a lot of players, myself included, and just a lot of players, when they take the soft shot, they decelerate their stroke, and which causes movement on the cue ball. At this level, probably not, but you know, at the level
Oh, it's very common.
everybody's watching, and usually it's very common. Nice
all the mistakes in pool are very common. All, believe it or not, from the lowest levels up to the top level. It's just maybe because the way pool's played. You know, like you throw a baseball, you can throw it over the top, you can throw it 3/4, you can throw it whatever. Right? Where pool, we all do the same setup pretty much. So mistakes are very common.
Well, guys, I'm going to take a little break here. There's a gentleman right behind me, Mr. Jim Weich, who is raring to go at the bid. He's well, he's still awake, number one. Ouch. Oh, you came to say you were going to bed? Well, guess what?
Well, thanks, George, and a wonderful job as always. And now, joined by one of Canada's finest, Jim Weich. Hello, Jim.
Hey, Jeremy. I guess George didn't know. I just was tapping him on the shoulder to say good night.
Well, you can't leave here at 4-3 in the final. Okay. And I'm not sure. We didn't mean to do it to Mr. Fortunski, but we brought it up that Niels had broke dry twice in a row. And Fortunski looked great on the break the first 2. We were even suggesting that maybe Niels, who rarely does it, should lighten up on the break a little bit. Maybe take a little information from what success Fortunski had the first 2, but now 2 dry breaks in a row.
Yeah, Niels, well, I watched him a couple times, even when he went back to his chair. Both players having a little trouble with the break.
Yeah, and a really funny rack here. You would think he could just draw over and take the cut on the 2, but you'll see the 3 near it. So he can't afford to get thin on the 2 and expect to be able to go back up and down the table to get on the 3. So he may take a little bit of a chance here, trying to move the cue ball. Is it laying there? I think it's laying there to go top English and go right inside the 6, 2 rails, in between the 6, 7, 3 rails around for the cue, for position on the 2. Yeah, that's what he tried, but he rattled it.
Yeah, you play a shot like that and you increase the degree of difficulty in the pot, don't you? Because you're trying to spin the cue ball, load up the cue ball, and, well, that makes, now you got to allow for the deflection and just makes the shot a lot tougher.
And Fortunski, and quite the opposite now, has a real natural to come down the table with just a little top right English. He might gain the 2nd rail if he feels good about it, meaning down here near the 2. Uh-oh. I don't like the speed of this. I don't like the speed of this. I don't like the speed of this, Jim.
Yeah, well, he likes it a lot less than you.
Yeah, I just kind of saw it right from the head that I think he wanted to get that 2nd rail and somewhere nowhere near the 3.
Yeah, and that's got to, I mean, Niels is probably just perked up in his chair a little bit.
Yeah, and you may have to see some type of trick shot here, maybe a masse or a kick into the rail with a little masse, or some type of
swerve it
English.
off the cushion.
Yeah, elevation here with a little downward on the right side of the cue ball.
Tough to judge these. The speed is important.
Don't baby it. That's the key. You got a lot better chance on that shot. Go ahead and, you know, you're not going to rip at it, but don't try to be so so cute with the curve part of the shot.
Yeah, it is kind of an exhibition shot, that shot. And he's left Niels another opportunity to get back in it here. You know, when these two played in the hot seat match, Niels did nothing wrong until the very end of the match. He ended up winning 7-2. But, I mean, he was flawless for about the first 6-7 racks.
Okay, so really eyeing up this 4, and that's mainly to get on the 6. Of course, obviously, he's got to shoot the 5 next, but really concentrate on where he wants on the 4 so he can gain position on the 5 to get way back down table for the 6. So, you know, amateurs, I think, are sometimes, or some of the novice players are a little under the suspicion that pros map out the entire table. I want to hear this, that, and you don't really do it like that. You recognize problems. You recognize things that need attention. And, of course, you give yourself a little bit of a game plan each shot, but it's not the entire rack because we know things can change so quickly. No reason to get involved in 9 balls right from the start.
No, the professionals, they're thinking ahead. They're seeing the path from ball to ball. And, I mean, obviously that changes. One shot goes a little awry, and your path changes now.
Well, that was surprising. That was very surprising there. And it's almost, yeah. Again, I know he didn't want to have to cut the 6 from a little distance. But getting all the way back straight and full on the 6 wasn't necessary, and that's what caused the problem here. He wanted to get a much heavier angle on the 5.
Yeah, he may have just slightly overcut the 4.
Yeah,
And
to where the cue ball ran a little more.
Exactly.
When we were talking about pattern play earlier as far as mapping it out. Now, there are other games where, like 8-ball, for instance, you do a little bit more of the entire table, or you do take care of that problem knowing that, you know, 3 or 4 of the balls are very easy or very doable from a lot of places. But the main thing is you stay in that flow. Just don't worry about the entire rack, and you're going to get out of line. So he's got to make this right and just chip this 6 and run the cue ball behind the 8 and 9 for safety. He's going to try and load up here and try and get all the way back down table. Oh, he could get to the bottom part of the ball. He fouled.
Yeah, he hit the 9 with his cue.
And I would have been worried about that as well. Just because anytime you add that speed, it's hard to keep the cue exactly in line.
Well, you know where I was going with this when I was talking about how well Niels played earlier. I mean, it's been a long day for these guys, too. We can't forget that. They've been here since early morning and hitting balls, playing matches, and it's a long day to maintain such a high elevation of focus and concentration.
That's why you probably see the guys these days also recognizing it's so important to stay in shape. Niels and you can see Fortunski both.
Yeah, they both look pretty healthy.
Very healthy, yeah. And that's not by chance. These guys are athletes. Healthier you are, the better you're going to play, the better you're going to be able to repeat things. And our sport is kind of unique. As you won't see any other sport that sometimes starts at 9, 10 in the morning for a player and then won't end till what might be midnight or close to it anyways.
Well, this match is going to be 4 apiece. Yeah, it's a much shorter race now, but Niels out of his chair. He wants to forget about that rack fast and get into the next one.
And he really could have put this match almost away the way things were going, and then the 2 dry breaks as well. Just a few errors to bring Fortunski even at 4 apiece.
And out of all the players that have been here all week, Niels has probably played at the highest level, the most consistently of anybody. Certainly Fortunski as well. He's been terrific. He's really opened a lot of people's eyes. Kind of came in here under the radar. Well, he's not under the radar anymore.
corner ball shut in. Got the 4 up in the corner. Is the 1 going to have enough steam to get? No, and it's not going to offer a cross-side bank either. So it won't be offensive here. And a challenging defensive shot as well, with the point being right there. It's not so easy to hit the right side of the 1, his right side of the 1, and drag the cue ball behind the 2-9. That's what he'd like to do. That's why you'll see him. He's going to have to take some time here, and what he's looking for is how can I play both the cue ball and the object ball in a safe area, which is probably going to be maybe cut the 1 down the rail and put it on the end rail and let the cue ball come 2 rails back behind the 8, something like that.
Yeah, this is where we need a telestrator.
Yeah, you cut the 1 right before the side pocket and let it just go 1 rail down to somewhere below the 9 and 2 on the bottom rail, and let the cue ball kind of naturally go back and forth.
Yeah, side cushion, side cushion. Play it with a little bit of left-hand spin as he looks.
It looks like it. And that looks like, to me, the best percentage play, especially if you're trying to play both balls. He could double bank the 1 as well to that area and try and just come 1 rail with the cue ball behind the 8.
Yeah, that would be a straighter hit, wouldn't it, if he played that shot?
And some people get a better feel for that shot than they do that natural cut, because when you go to cutting at a ball and you're trying to put it in a place like a 1 rail and you got to use good speed, it's not as easy as when you're shooting them in. You get that natural, comfortable feeling of how to hit the ball and the speed because you've done it so many times. But this, you don't practice all the time. So you really got to trust it. I think that's exactly what he's doing there. He's cutting the 1, yeah, 2 rails. Now he's tried to use the 6, which was pretty crafty as well.
Well, not bad, given the shot that faced him.
Yeah.
But he's left a pretty aggressive option here for Fortunski as well. Not easy. He's cueing over the 6. That certainly comes to Feijen's aid.
Yeah, and this is where, in a big moment at 4-4, I'd like to pick out a shot that really gets me the snooker. Because looking at the table, you're not going to get a devastating snooker here. You're going to get a shot to where Niels can kick at this ball 99 out of 100, hit it or jump at it. But you still want to secure the snooker. You don't want to go out of your way trying to do something too much and then let the ball leak out. So I think this is a pretty smart play here. Just take your chances with it. You know the side rail's open. He might kick it cross side right in on you and steal the game, but it's just what you have to do.
Yeah, he's looking at the kick, and as you said, Jeremy, the hit's automatic.
Yeah, it's just, part of it. That's part of the game. And Fortunski or somebody here in Las Vegas that's a good handicapper might say that Niels is actually probably a hair favorite from this position just because he can get the cue ball down below the 2-9. I think he can hit it accurately enough, and he's got a chance to make the 1. It may not work out this time, but I don't think he's a real big underdog. He may even try and hit a piece of it and let the cue ball come to the side rail and back over. Okay, he just kicked it to the end rail. But that's what I mean. He's just not a big underdog from that position.
Yeah, and that's a great effort. Even acknowledged by Fortunski there, tapping the table with his cue.
And being elevated, I think he's got a maybe 2 rail kick at this. If he tries to curve in behind it, he's got a chance to curve into the 8. But the angle tells me that the cue ball is going to come up. I don't think he can get behind it and stick from there. He could 2 rail kick behind it and stick the cue ball, but
yeah, calling for the referee. So John Lehman's going to have to get front and center here. Just keep an eye on this.
yeah, I think that's his best choice. It's still not great either, meaning kicking to the side rail and then the bottom rail and trying to hit the 1 full. And hopefully hold the ball there, and maybe the 1 ends up on the side rail. Leaves at least a tough shot for Niels, but I think if he goes 1 rail at it right behind it, I just don't like the future of that.
And at 4-4, obviously, this is a pretty big rack.
gives himself a chance to make it this way as well. And there you go.
Well, that was nicely called and nicely timed, Jeremy. He's kind of nodding.
Well, at the speed he shot it, he certainly was trying to play more of a defensive shot, but I'll tell you, you know, they both had a little bit of fortune in this match so far, so nothing for Niels to get too worried about. It's not going to come down to that shot, most likely, that decides this match. Now, he's got to let the stroke out here a little bit, Jim. I mean, he could go forward here, but I don't know. It's close to where I would want to draw this ball, just because I could get up underneath the 5 on a funny angle going forward, unless I wanted to really just roll it. And I hate to just dead roll the ball. Okay, nice shot coming past the 5 and a good decision.
Yeah, comfortable now. He's got a nice angle on the 5, slide over the right-hand side of the table.
And real natural, huh, the Fortunski. I mean, just really doesn't look tough at all. Emotion, it doesn't look out of line. It doesn't look like it's going to break down. Timing's good.
No, you know what he needs is he needs a few of those big wins against some of the real big-name players, and that's going to put him in good stead for the future.
Yeah, and it's just a process. Everybody's is different. Some players, as talented as they are, still have to go through some growing pains when it comes to professional sports. We have guys like that hit the scene running, Josh Fieler and Corey Deuel did it back in the day, and Alex Pagaline, of course, one of your countrymen.
Well, this is first opportunity. He's never been in front in this final.
It sounds like the last time they played in the hot seat match, he wasn't ever in front either.
Well, he is now.
And breaking.
5-4. Yeah, the way that he plays, and you're going to see a little bit more, I think, in some of the higher profile events. You're going to see Fortunski, his name, and people are going to start taking note of where it is in the draw.
And I think you'd say the same thing about many of the Polish players if you'd gotten to see him play. I traveled to Russia last year and then to the Euro Tour, and man, it was one country that I was very, very impressed.
Yeah, you had talked in an earlier broadcast about Russia too, and what they had done there to try and promote junior play.
Oh yeah, pool period. Okay. Oh, wow. Making how many? Making 3 on the break. Awful kiss on the cue ball. So now it'll be interesting to see if Niels tries to bump this 5 a hair. Because if you look at it, if you bump the 5, you can't get snookered. You're not going to go behind the 7 now. It's a little touchy. I'm not saying it's needed, but you could bump it over like a couple inches and it'd be really nice and easy to play position on from there. I think he'll probably not do it, but no, he's just going to come straight at the 4. Okay, perfect position there.
Yeah, big edge and experience at this level to Niels, obviously. And as the players go hand in hand towards the finish line in this one, well, you have to feel that experience may start becoming more of a factor. how you handle the pressure.
And that's a nice one right there just to look at as far as experience. Knowing it was just better right there with the 7. If the 7 went there, he probably comes around. But just knowing the 7's there, just not taking any chances with position play. So that first lead
didn't last long.
No, it sure didn't.
And swipe that one against Fortunski's break as well.
It looks like Fortunski has left the arena for a moment.
Yeah, he might be just heading to the restroom, and actually Niels is questioning that.
Yeah, we had a similar situation. I think Niels was the one playing, I believe, on a timeout where Fortunski wasn't gone long. Just got a little water,
just
I
got
believe.
some water. There's at both ends. There's
coolers and stuff.
a couple coolers, yeah, for players to just stay hydrated.
Now 5-5. It is a one-race final here, race to 9.
Yeah, a little difference of $5,500. First place to second place, 10,000, 15,500 to the winner, and 10 grand for the runner-up. So that'll look after the hotel room bill.
Oh yeah. Okay, hit them great. Now is he going to get any results? Oh, the 3 ball got knocked in. Now I'm not sure the 1 has a corner. It looks like the 6 is in the way, but still you want to be shooting here. Just bank the 1 and kind of try to float behind the 6 here. Use the 2 as well.
He's having a look. Maybe half a pocket, but
the 2 doesn't go either.
no, that's without a doubt that's the shot, Jeremy. Just try and float that cue ball down to the top cushion. 1 back up towards the 9.
Yeah, and I think the way it lays, you probably won't get the 1 all the way down there, and you probably aren't going to try and play the cue ball so far back up on the 6. Just lay him behind it on the rail. I think it's okay. You may have to cue it with a touch of right English. Is that right? Just to throw the 1 back just a hair?
Yeah, just makes the shot a little tougher.
Yeah.
He's had a pretty good look at it. I think he can float that 1 down there.
Yeah, with just a center high ball and lighter speed. That way you don't let the cue ball deflect.
I mean, that was always the
he's left
concern
him a
for him.
window. Wow.
Yeah, you know what? That cue ball travels another half an inch, and totally different story. And Niels knew it.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what he really has here. Is he looking at cutting this to the lower left and running the cue ball 2 rails and back up table? I believe so. And the thing about this shot is you got plenty of angle, right? So just don't murder it. And there's a little bit of a built-in safety here, meaning you're going to get some separation if you miss. Now, a lot of times guys will hit it really hard, this type of shot, and the 1 will carry back down table and all that. But if you just stay with a nice medium like that and you miss it, you got a good chance to leave your opponent a tough shot. And that's what's happened. But you could see he didn't murder it. He just really played the cue ball speed, knowing he's got a little bit of a 2-way.
And this is tough now with that 1 marrying up behind the 9.
Oh.
Getting separation, not that easy.
Well, we'll try here in a second when Niels goes to the other end of the table. We'll try and get a look at where the 1-9's pointed. Is it pointed somewhere towards the 8? Is it pointed to where it maybe long rail banks by the 8 and in between the 8-3 back at the other corner?
That's what he came down to have a look at. I think Niels is looking for the thinnest hit off of the rails. I mean, he's got a 2 cushion escape to try and feather the 1. He's got a 1 cushion escape to try and feather it. But, I mean, again, getting separation between that 1 and the cue ball it's not going to be easy. And now we're right behind it. It's not a million miles away from that corner pocket, that 1-9.
No, I don't think it'll throw that much. So, and you can create a different line with some throw and some friction. But like you said, Jim, I think he'll want to kick to this bottom rail and try and hit as thin on the 1 as possible, and just take his chances on letting the cue ball run up towards the 3 and 4 and the 8 area. Probably still going to give up a shot, but you got to realize that 2 is tough. So if you can just leave him some distance here, you're probably going to make things pretty tough on Fortunski. Okay, he hit it heavy, and he's not going to be happy with that.
Well, now the one saving grace he's got is that 2.
Yeah, and a big decision here. On a 1 ball you can't take lightly, of course. It's one he should make, but does he try to play for the 2-6, or does he try to threaten going by the 8 a couple rails and get a? The thing about going by the 8 is you're never going to get great on the 2. You're still going to have to make one tough shot on the 2 from behind it. So I kind of like him just knocking this in and coming 2 rails for the 2-6 combination. What do you think, Jim?
Well, it almost looks like he can go 2 rails and
Get to the other side?
get to the other side of the 2. He's had a look at it. He was kind of cueing by the side pocket.
I saw that, but
He's flirting with the side, isn't he, a little bit?
yeah, and I don't. You can make the ball spread pretty easily off the second rail with new felt, but when you're thin like this, it's going to come in kind of sharp. So I think he's taking a chance if he tries to get to the other side of the 2. Meanwhile, he hit it perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Yeah, and a knowledgeable crowd letting you know that too.
And he's not out of the woods yet. He's a little funny here on the 2. It looks like he's almost going into the 9 with the cue ball. The overhead tells you no, but I'm looking at the table, and that's why he's cueing down here. Can't afford to go forward. Boy, what a stroke.
Yeah, he just played a real good shot, made it look easy.
And the 5 may be a little tight going by the 8, but I think he can go forward and play the 5 in the side if need be. Thing is, if the 5 goes, keep it simple, because the 6 is so easy, the 7 is so easy.
Well, this has been a real good rack for him.
And Niels just barely missed the safety on the opening shot. Fortunski attacked on a tough one and ended up a little fortunate not to leave Niels an open look of some sort.
Yeah, but I mean, when players are playing at this level, it's those little subtle openings, and that was certainly one. Just being able to see the 1 there instead of getting that cue ball behind the 6, and that proved the difference in this rack.
Yeah, and the score at 6-5 now.
Well, I think Niels has gone for a little stroll. He just took his glove off as he was leaving the CSI arena, just to go compose himself a little bit. He's only 1 rack down, but you know something, it's just been one of those matches that if you saw one of them 3, even 2-3 racks ahead, you wouldn't be surprised. It's just been that type of a match.
Yeah, well, early in the match, it looked like Niels could have really put it away. Was up a few games and then had some dry breaks by Fortunski, and didn't capitalize. And now he's trailing 6-5. He's played well. It's not like he's played bad. He just had a couple little things get away from him. But yeah, tides can turn quickly.
You know, and again, we talked about the experience that Niels has over Fortunski, and this might be an example of it here. You know, just get out of the arena, you know, go wash your hands, you know, give yourself a little talking to in the mirror, and
And
You know, hit the reset button.
yeah, it's we talked about it earlier in a match that there was a timeout taken on the opponent's break, and the opponent inquired, "Can they take a timeout on my break?" And that the rule here is you can, and I think that's a good rule. I understand the other side of the other rule where it's their inning, you can only do it on your inning and all that, but I think it was you and I that talked about it. Maybe it was George. But I think the timeouts, there's a little gamesmanship involved in timeouts, meaning you are supposed to be able to use them for other than just having to go to the restroom, meaning breaking a little bit of momentum, or there's other things along with it too. Some guys like to take their time out after their opponent has a big blunder to let them really stew and stew on it a little bit. But
Well, you have to feel that Niels probably even thought that got a couple just bad rolls in that one. You know, just not getting in behind the 6 for the safety, and then when Fortunski hit at the 1, getting that one behind the 9, that was pretty handy too. And he just wanted to get away and
yeah, reset a little bit. Well, Fortunski was up a game at 5-4 and got an awful kiss on the cue ball after making 3 on the break, which led to a quick win and a tied match there for a moment.
well, another big opportunity right here. Put a little distance between himself and Nielsen. There's a good chance these two will have some familiarity with each other.
Oh, for
Probably
sure.
playing on the European tour.
For sure. I didn't hear one. Definitely a cut. What's the 2 going to do? Okay, he's got one down. He's going to get a look at the 1. It's a little thin to either pocket. He elects to shoot it. I believe he will shoot at it. Maybe it's just really nice actually to cut it in the side and come 3 rails to get the cue ball somewhere where it's at now for the 3.
Right back in the middle. That looks like a natural angle, and I think that is absolutely going to be the plan of attack for him here.
Perfect. Pretty perfect anyways.
Yeah, it looks like the 7's available in the middle of the table. Just roll this straight down. Leave a little angle on the 4. Well, every chance now to get to 7-5.
And he doesn't mind drawing the cue ball, so when he shoots the 5, he may just stop right there and have that nice full line on the 6 to just draw the cue ball straight back into position on the 7. And I think it, as well as he draws the cue ball and the way it's sitting, I think that's probably the correct play. Could go forward here for an angle on the 6 to come 1 rail over, but I really think just stopping it here is the best move.
No, that's exactly what he's done. So it'll be straight back. He'd like to get the cue ball pretty close to where it is now. Well, slightly overcooked that one, but
And that's happened to him a couple times here in the last few matches. Okay, so now he's gotten to where he can't get above the 8, and he's looking at it like, now I got to go forward and dive below the 8. Which most likely was not the original plan. Okay, did he get there? Yeah, that's the problem because he overcut the 7 to the pocket a little bit, made the cue ball lose the line he intended. I think he'll still cut it in the side. Don't think he'll bank it. If he was to bank it this cross side, it wouldn't be the worst selection. But normally the guys would still cut it even when it's extreme. Oh, he's looking at the corner. Or no, maybe not the cross side.
Well, that is one huge let off. A rack again. I would have saw him too clear. And he had it. He had it in his grasp. Yeah, it's not supposed to be easy, is it, Jeremy?
No, it never is. Never is. Wow, watch out. How'd he hit that one? Oh, my. Wow.
You know, I'll bet you if you asked Niels, that might have been the last thing he thought would happen.
Yeah, and he didn't. I mean, of course, we know this table draws easy. The slick table, the TV conditions almost always do. But, man, it seemed like he barely hit that one. And it just screamed down the side rail into the pocket. And now, a 2-game lead, 7-5.
Yeah, Fortunski almost with his shoulders down, accepting that with the crowd. It stunned the crowd as well. Totally unexpected. Well, it's not dire straits yet, but Niels, he desperately needs a good break here.
And after a big miss, just, I mean, of course, unfortunate, but man, just something he just didn't expect, and he just kind of chuckled about it. It's not something you got to shake that one off just because he didn't hit the ball poorly. Obviously, he hit it great. Okay, the cue ball, uh-oh, got kissed. Okay, the one got kissed as well. So he's going to have a shot on the 1, but he's elevated over the 9. So it'll be a tester. 1 I think he'll shoot at, though.
Well, it's far from easy.
No, but I mean, you're still queuing over the 9, even if you play safe. So.
Yeah, if you're going to go down, you might as well go down firing.
Yeah,
you can always get lucky, too.
For sure. And again, always talked about it when these great players have to make great shots. I always want to bet on them. I don't want to bet against them. And he can get position as well. I mean, he's going to come around the 5. So there is reward. He's already had 1 foul, though, touching, ironically, the 9 ball. Earlier when he kind of got himself elevated, shooting a 5 ball. And maybe, in my opinion, the turning point in the match. That was right with those 2 dry breaks where he had a chance to really extend his lead.
Yeah, with this format, dry breaks, you're sleeping in the streets for sure.
I mean, I just don't see how he can pass up shooting here. I mean, if there was something easy, it was just a real natural hit. Didn't have to be that accurate to play the safety. That's one thing. But it appears to me the safety's not easy either. Like, he could try to bank the 1 back down and try and go 1 rail underneath the 6. But any miss hit there, you could go off in the corner with the cue ball. I think that's just as difficult a shot. as the cut, and you're actually shooting more elevated. If you're cutting the ball, you're hitting the left side of the one. So that's a little less elevation than if you're going for the safety. You're cueing a little more fully over the 9. It's got to go. And that should be enough for him to shoot offensively, whether it's a cross-side bank or a back cut to the lower left corner. What a great shot under the pressure, though, right?
He's not out of the woods yet, though. But again, he's got to shoot.
Yeah, and if he wants to cue this with right English and kind of throw the cut back a little bit, he can. He doesn't have to really draw the ball much. Now, if he's going to naturally cut it a little bit more, not use as much right English, he has to draw by the side pocket and probably gain 3 rails for position on the 5. That's perfect. So one pressure out developing here in a much needed situation.
Yeah, every ball magnified now. But again, Niels no stranger to this stage of a tournament.
Nice shot there. I always think a good decision. Ignoring that 7 in the side. Is he going by the 9 here to the rail and back out? Shot. So no matter the situation, still shoots the shots according to what he thinks correct. He's not. Some people can get a little cinchy in that type of situation and all the pressure. But I'm pretty sure we're going to get to Hill somehow or another here.
Yeah,
Jim.
it's working that way, isn't it?
Yeah.
7-6, and Mieszko Fortunski will be breaking in the next. Try and get to the hill first. But there's a good crowd in attendance here too.
Oh, great
A lot of them
crowd.
stuck around to watch this final. Sadly for them, no Americans contesting it. Skyler, well, he gave everyone a good ride, and he would have been a very worthy finalist too. Fortunski took him out. A 3rd place finish for Skyler Woodward. Not too shabby going into the World 10-Ball Championship.
Okay. What's the 1 going to do with that 7? It looks like it's going to open up. Oh, the 3. I couldn't see the 3. Oh, so big problems all of a sudden at 7-6 for Fortunski. May have to roll out to a jump shot here. I kind of always think that at first, but looking a little down here on this end rail, but can't afford to give up an easy safety. And this may be okay, rolling down here to this end rail, but you got to believe he's not getting it back. Yeah, I like looking down there a little, up there a little better. Important he rests that cue ball on the rail, really close to it. And he's rolled out pretty tough, even though Niels can see the entire one. Niels would like to, both players would like to edge the 1 and send the cue ball down past the 5, which we'll get a look at it here in a second. That's near the 9. Kind of let the cue ball run in between the 3, 5 and put the 1 on the side rail and try and use the 9 and 5 as a snooker. But it's not easy.
That's what he's looking at right now, the path he wants the cue ball to take.
And now he's looking at running it the entire, all the way back up. And the problem with that is I think you lose, you don't have any guarantees on the 1. You could end up leaving a shot on the 1.
But a quarter ball hit, Jeremy, would you say?
Yeah, and you got to just, one thing is you really need to be aware of, all right, not too thin. Don't let me come down straight and catch the edge of this 5 and scratch in the corner. That's the one that would be a, you know, it's not a totally clean route there. You have to make a real accurate hit on the 1. And I think that's what's a little alarming to him, because I think Niels knows the soft way on the is probably better, meaning don't run the cue ball all the way back up table. Oh, wow, he did a really, really awesome job with the 1 ball, I believe.
Well, a short cue will be coming out here, no doubt about that. He's put that 1 right near the 9.
Yeah, right near the 9, and really, I mean, the 9 and the 5 both have really cut off the kicks, besides a 1 rail kick kind of right before that right side pocket with the cue ball. The thing about the jump, though, Jim, is the 7's a good 2.5 feet away from the cue ball, so you really need a lot of power to get over it, and then you're really worried about knocking something off the table. I'll tell you, I like the 1 rail kick here. The reason being is you got a chance to make the 5 with the cue ball off the 1. You got a chance to make the 9 that way. I think the jump is, you got to overcut the 1 so much on the jump shot to make the 9. And the 7 being so far away from the cue ball. And I just kicked to the side rail right before the side pocket. I think that's just really what he's got to do.
That's what he's looking at right now.
I think that's his best play. I think you can hit it with a high ball. You might make the 9, like I said. You might come off the good side of the 1 and make the 5. I wouldn't hit it with like a center. A lot of guys like to hit center on this type of shot. Just judge it and then hit like a high. You want to hit it fairly firm, you know. Good thing about it, too, is with the 3 being there, with a high ball, you can hit a little further up the rail and not bring the 3 into play too much. Wouldn't be surprised if he makes one here. Oh, wow. Missed it all. Is this going to bump the 8? Almost. I'm not sure Niels has the easiest pass to the 2 ball, Jim, with the 6 being there. He's got to get to the left side of the table, it appears. So even with ball in hand, not so easy. And that's why he's looking at this 2 on the side now, is because he can recognize it just like we do. Is even with ball in hand, it's not easy to get over on that left side of the table.
Doesn't have a lot of options.
No, not at all. He's even entertaining a 1-5 combination to see if that might open up getting to the 2 ball afterwards. Okay, so now he's looking at the 1 in the upper corner, and this would be definitely to play the 2 ball in the side pocket most likely.
Yeah, he's positioned it with an angle where playing follow, the cue ball is going to track between the 7 and the 9, get below the 2.
And I like his decision there as far as if he does shoot it for that corner. Some people would try to hit it with a high inside and try and hit the side rail, in rail, and come up. And that makes the shot a lot tougher, and you don't get quite as good as if you go in between that 7-9 like you were talking about. You got ball in hand, so you should be able to set it up with a nice angle or the proper angle to just follow straight down. Stepping back to get a good line on the cue ball on the 1. Just as Jim said, he'll want to go right in between that 7-9. That way he's nice and close to the 2 ball.
Yeah, it's not very often, Jeremy, with ball in hand, and you've got a couple pockets to play with here, that you're going to be forced with what Niels is looking at. Something just not straightforward.
And what I like is, myself included, I might not even recognize this shot coming in between. I might not even recognize coming in between the 7 and 9. And the more I see what he's setting up for, I think that's actually correct. Like I said, if he's going to shoot it in this pocket, I think a really good decision now. He's overhit the cue ball, it looks like. He's going to get to the end rail, and that's going to be upsetting.
Yeah, that might mean that he opts for the defensive shot now and just holds the cue ball behind the 8 and 9. I mean, he really wants to attack. You know he does.
Absolutely, but the 2 goes by the 8 in the corner, I believe. He could attack that way, but I wonder if he just hit it too light, if he wanted to bounce off that end rail, or if he actually just kind of overhit the ball and it just kind of went on him an extra foot or so. Now doing what you said, I think playing safe.
Yeah, he was almost forced into it just because he left the cue ball so near that top cushion.
Now, Fortunski's going to have some stretch kicking this way, and that point's big. I don't like this route. I think across the table is better, right? Just kick by the 7, 1 rail cross. I mean, I like the long rail kicks generally, but I'd like that 2 ball to be another 6 or 8 inches away from the side pocket. Those points play big when you're kicking at them like that. I think
you're right about that.
I think the cross table kick shot offers the best hit and the best opportunity to get safe. Now this one you'll put a little more speed on it, a little like a center ball. That way the cue ball holds its line that you put it on. I don't think you'll manipulate this with much side spin. And this is one that I don't get too cute with. Let me not try to hit a particular side or any of that. Let me take my chances on getting a good solid hit on it, because it's an awkward one. It's not like you feel like it should be easy, but to try and hit one side or the other of the 2 ball, I think is asking a lot. It's almost like that safety we talked about earlier. You know, it's not great. It's not going to get ball in hand. But you just got to do it. It's the same thing here. Don't get too cute. You just got to make sure you get a hit. Well, he's going to get away with this, I believe. The 2's going to bounce. No. Gave up a shot. Nice hit, though, and that's just all he could do.
Well, Jeremy, you mentioned it earlier. You said Hill written all over it. There's no reason to think that's not the case. It looks very much like it's going to be 7-7.
Okay, again, Niels not taking any chances there. I don't blame him. Very minimal cue ball movement. He's got kind of right in between. He's going to have to add speed, or if he wants to move the cue ball over. He doesn't want to go forward too much and flirt with the 7. Or he can just kind of pinch it and take a little more of a cut shot to the opposite pocket on the 5. Looks like he's moving it over. But you can see as firm as he hit that, it really still didn't move a ton.
You know, as we start coming down the home stretch in this one too, it's also apparent both players taking a little bit of extra time over each and every shot. Well, Fortunski having won the lag. Or did he?
I don't think so.
No, Niels. Niels
I think
won
Niels
the lag.
won the lag, yeah.
Well, Niels knows a good break here. And if he can hold, and at the very worst, if it does go hill-hill, he'll break in the decider.
And besides that first chance at every match when you win the lag to put a beat on your side, it's times like these where it shows how important that lag is. 7-7 and possibly 8-8. It's really mathematically it's in Niels' hands now to win the tournament, because he's going to get 2 out of the next 3 breaks if it goes that far. We know it's not realistically like that. You got to come away with an opportunity to do so.
Well, I've seen a few players around the outskirts too, and everybody probably starting to think about the CSI event that's going to be taking place here, the Predator World 10 ball, a couple days' time.
Player meeting tomorrow night, and I'm sure play will start fairly early. I'm not sure the schedule's just out just yet, but somewhere around 10 or 11 o'clock, I'm sure, on Monday morning.
Yeah, guaranteed. It'll be a full field, 64 players.
The cream of the crop.
Yeah, no shortstops in that one.
Okay, he's made one. Cue ball got a little kiss, but it's not going to hurt him, I don't think. Nice shot on the 1. The 4 kind of holds the cue ball for a 2-5 combinations. Niels in prime position to get to the heel, Jim. Now he's going to inspect not just the combination, but this 4 ball as well. Wants to make sure he doesn't flirt, come across it, and let the 4 bounce out and get in the way of the cue ball somehow or something. Just hard luck seeing that happen, but he'll make sure of it.
Yeah, this is useful. This looks good. The 2's not going to be traveling too far away from that corner.
No, and he'll be close to two ball as well after this combination. He'll just kind of drag this a little. No reason to draw it and hit it with much speed, because if you miss the 5 a little bit, the 2 could get away. So hit it light. A little bit of a stretch here, reaching the 2 ball, but all about this angle on the 4 to get back for that 6. And it's weird. It's like right in between. He may creep this out with a little inside English, coming 2 rails rather than drawing back. He's close to it, though. It's kind of preference. I think top inside English is the best way, meaning a lot of left spin and let the ball just kind of creep out of there and drift into position. Uh-oh. He's going to get, man, he's close to it, and he's cueing low right, so he's got to really be aware of fouling the 7 here. Because the cue stick will want to go to the right a little bit, because that's what's needed to get back and get position on the 6.
Well, he does cue as straight as anybody in the game. And he's going to need to here.
Well, he had a foul already on a power shot. It was a little worse position than this one is, and shouldn't be a problem, but I bet he's thought of it. Okay, even if he can go around the 9 here, he most likely won't. He'll choose the other option of drawing down to the bottom rail and back towards the 8 with the cue ball. He can handle a little distance on the 8 as well, just because the 9 is very available. Oh, he is putting high. That's amazing he's going around this instead of drawing it. It shouldn't be a problem, but these guys actually know better than we do. They're the ones at the table.
I never really see the angle, the way it presents itself to the players either. Been fooled more times than I can remember by the camera angle. So Niels has done everything he could do. He's at the hill. Now Fortunski is hoping to keep him in his chair for at least another rack. And you just know the fans, everyone here watching, they're being treated to exactly what they wanted. Everybody loves seeing somebody under pressure.
And these fans, unlike some other sports to a degree, know what it is. Meaning they play themselves and play full-time, not full-time, but play quite a bit of pool. So they know to an extent what that pressure is.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. I mean, they run this event in conjunction with the BCA, the Nationals, and so there's a full house of pool players, amateurs and professionals here at the Rio. Been here all week, and they're going to be here for another week.
Mm-hmm. Okay, put the rack away there for a second, but said to himself, there's no reason not to like something about the rack here. This is my case break. Last time that we'll see Fortunski break 9-ball this week. He'll be breaking some 10-ball here in a couple of days, though. And a guy that could get on a roll. Like you said, Jim, just get just get a few of those win notches on his belt. We can see the talent.
Yeah, he's definitely a champion in the making. Oh, big break here required.
Well, you could hear one down, and the one's tracking in a nice position. It's going to get out, I believe. It's not going to be an easy one to start, but one that Fortunski will definitely attack with.
Yeah, he's got the natural angle to bring that cue ball off 2 cushions and back down for the 2 to the side. But always the danger of overhitting it.
Yeah. I kind of thought he could float it and hold for the corner, kind of where the cue ball's at now. Now you got to float it a little bit, but which is uneasy at times, especially when pressure is high. Okay, a great strike, and that cue ball's moving pretty well. So he's definitely at least going to have to shoot the 2 from a little more distance. Oh, man, if he fell straight here, that's a problem. A little shrug of the shoulders there, Jim. Because how you get position if you fall straight? You may just have to roll it in and go offensive on a bank, cross-corner bank maybe.
Yeah,
Or maybe a thin cut.
I mean, for me, Jeremy, the way that he was playing that, he almost had to be lucky to land good. What a shot he made there.
Yeah, to that side pocket. And we know, oh wow, did that not get there? And everyone knows how tough the diamond side pockets are. Not very forgiving at all. Wow, so just barely, I think. I think he may be able to make it with an inside spin, just kind of like a level masse, but the cue ball's maybe not going in such a great place like that. So what do you think, a jump shot, rail first maybe with draw?
We saw him hit a jump shot
On the
perfect.
6, yeah.
Yeah, one of the earlier matches, I think, and it's hard to say. Just again, looks like if he does have to spin this, the cue ball might well go into the 5, so he's not going to have position to the 4. Now he's looking possibly cushion first.
I like that. I think he can't roll it, but just because he'll probably go behind the 8-9 or somewhere near the 8-9, maybe over the 8-9. So I don't think he can take a chance at rolling the rail first. But if he can get in there and get enough rail, meaning close enough to the 3, he can draw out of this and try and make it and come across the table, across to the other side of the rail with the cue ball. Now, he could just try to nick this. He could hit higher up on the rail, just nick the 3, maybe let the cue ball run 1 rail behind the 6 or something like that. I kind of like the draw shot rail first, though. Wow, what a sweet shot. And if you want to learn something about it, that's the guy to watch, evidently, because you notice how he didn't kill it. A lot of people really hit that ball hard when they go that rail first draw stroke. Boy, he hit it sweet.
And we just got to draw this below the side pocket.
I like him taking the extra time, I'll tell you that. Because this is right on the 50 as far as, I guess he's going to draw, because he really hadn't acted like he wants to come down to the bottom rail with the cue ball. It looks like he's trying to come across somewhat where the cue ball's at now. I think he's got to draw it, like you said, Jim. He's going to attack the low part of the cue ball and draw past the side and just carry the cue ball down table for the 5. He's trying to pound it to the rail, I think, and come across. He could go right off in the side like that, right? I mean, you could hit it really well, and you only have about an inch of room above that side pocket to get the cue ball to the rail and back over.
Yeah, the shot that I'm talking about, you got to release the cue You know, you don't. It isn't a power shot. It's as much a finesse draw as anything else.
Yeah, just a real clean one. And the good thing about your shot is, at this level, if he chooses to draw the ball, the scratch is never really a problem. He would really have to miss-hit the ball a long ways to lose the cue ball. This way, I think he could lose it.
He has to commit, whatever he decides.
I think he's got a draw, and I don't think he's really even looked at it. I think he's still looking at trying to punch it across. Now he's cueing much lower, and I think that's correct.
Yeah, maybe, Jeremy, that side pocket looms a lot bigger than it looks like from our perspective.
Yeah, I can kind of agree with it a little bit. But the table, like you said, it's not a power draw. Give it time to react off the object ball. It's a nice, clean one. I think he'll have plenty of speed to get back down for the 5. Now he's going really nice and low, and I think he's all right. I think he'll hit 6 inches past the side with the cue ball. Well, he's not a slow player, so there's obviously something there that is of some bother.
Yeah, and Niels is looking at it, and Niels is probably thinking, where's the shot clock when you need it?
Right. Sometimes, though, you'll have a player, and you do it yourself, to where you just don't look at a shot correctly, meaning it just, for some reason, is not registering. And I still kind of believe the shot in the corner, even though it's not easy, I still kind of believe that drawing it past the side should be pretty apparent to Fortunski. Man, this is dangerous. He's going to try and shove it in the corner and hit past the side and come back in between the 9-6 for a little cut shot, I believe. And wow, how great do you hit it? Now, did he get a shot, though? Nope. And that's the thing about that shot. You definitely want to get rewarded no matter how you take on the 4. And not taking anything away from him, Jim. He hit the 4 great. But that's the thing about, and we had commented that you could hit that type of shot really well and not get the results you want.
I don't know why he'd even play that shot, Jeremy.
Yeah, I don't understand it either. It's almost looked like it was a way more difficult route that offered maybe not any position. It's tough. It's tough to make the cue ball shove forward off the object ball and then make it come backwards off the rail. It's just not an easy proposition.
Well, like I said, it may be that the angle that we saw wasn't the angle he saw.
Yeah. Well, another rail first that I think he should try to make. It's hard to hang it. Oh, he's going 2 rails that way. Okay, I thought he could get to the bottom rail and come across the 5. Tendency here sometimes is to overspin and miss the entire 5. Oh, wow. Not to be denied, Jim. Not out of the woods yet.
Well, that was everybody in the crowd that's looking for a hill final here.
Yeah, he's got a little angle here, and he's got to hit top inside. And if he overhits it a little bit, the inside won't grab, and he could come into the back of the 9 with the cue ball. So he's got to hit this clean, kind of creep out of there and just barely get above the balls. Oh, what a kick shot on the 5, what a kick shot on the 3. Wasn't a bad opener on the 1, and then the 2 was pretty nice in the side as well.
Well, he hasn't made a bad shot yet.
No. Position hasn't gotten there yet, but who cares? That's what I was kind of talking about earlier. When you see these types of talents, you want to see them have to make great shots. And that's a nice shot. And see how he hit it easy? You got to let the inside take a little bit. And a lot of people would say, well, man, he's way out of position. Well, that's pretty much almost as good as he could do.
Just got to be a little careful here, though.
Big time. It looks very dangerous trying to go by the 9.
Yeah, it looks like it might flick the 9 and
Yeah.
track right towards that corner pocket.
Or if you really give it a lot of effort to get by the 9, say you have to hit down on the cue ball a little bit, it's easy to just hit down a little too much and scratch right in the corner naturally. And it looks like if he flirts with hitting the 9, he could hit the 9 a lot of ways and scratch as well. So he's trying to hit it thick, the 9. Oh, no, he overcut the 8. That's why.
Jeremy, that was always on.
Yeah. A little bit darned if you do, darned if you don't.
You know what? This match, it really didn't deserve to end like this. I mean, he made some great shots, Fortunski.
Yeah, and hats off to Fortunski and another title for the Terminator.
Well, you know he's going to get better, but Niels Feijen, he went through the racks undefeated all week long, and he is your champion, the inaugural Las Vegas 9-Ball Open. Your champ from The Hague, the Terminator, Niels Feijen. And hats off to Fortunski. A game effort falling just short. And you know he's going to be back.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to watch play both these guys. And it's a pleasure that we have the 10 Bowl starting here Monday to get to see more of them.
Well, folks, I'm going to leave it to John out there, and for all of us here in Las Vegas, the production crew, your commentators, George, Jeremy, and myself, you have a great night, and a couple days we'll see you right again in front of your computers for the Predator World 10 Ball. All the best, and enjoy the closings.
Trophy for first place. We have Mr. Steve McDonald representing Billiard Products.
The chicken.
And
Chicken sandwich. Really good. Yeah, shit.
Mr. Ian Anderson. Ladies and gentlemen.